healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad
Leave the feed when
Council.
you get it back to me.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblum, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on sportstalksc.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525.
All righty. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk here on Sports Talk Media Network, and welcome back the boys of fall. Oh, yes, indeed. Football practice now all across the state of South Carolina. I know a couple of schools maybe got to jump because they've got earlier games, but for the most part, everybody getting on the practice field today. We're up at Clemson, where Dabo Swinney met with the media for about 50 minutes today, 3:15 to about 4 o'clock, and then took his team out for practice. They're still practicing right now. They began indoors with stretching and running some of their individual drills, and they went outside and got after it. And we left about, half hour ago or so on a beautiful day here in the upstate as the rain has cleared out, and it made for a nice dry afternoon for the Tigers on the practice field. USC practiced this morning for a couple of hours outdoors in the rain. The first official preseason fall camp practice for first-year head coach Shane Beamer, who said he took a moment to kind of let it soak in that after 22 years as an assistant coach, he was about to run out on the field to run and direct his first preseason fall practice, a big moment for him. Dabo Swinney pointed out this is like his 40th opening day practice, going back to his days as a young player, then an assistant coach, and now a head coach. And he had some interesting things to say. We'll hit the highlights. You're going to hear from him coming up shortly. We've got a jam-packed show. Let's say we're up at Clemson. We are up at Clemson. We're at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, sitting in the home broadcast booth, looking out over home plate and right out over the field. Scott Wingo, the new assistant coach at USC, who had some fine moments against the Tigers in his career. He's going to join us live at 6:30. As I mentioned, we'll hear from Dabo Swinney and Marshawn Lloyd, USC running back. Everybody's waiting to see him. We'll hear from him tonight. Plus, of course, Jeff Owens on NASCAR, George Bryan on golf will update the second round of the South Carolina Amateur, the 90th South Carolina Amateur being played at Devido. So it's a busy show. Chris Bergen had a great trip up here to the upstate, had a lot of fun listening to Dabo Swinney and watching the Tigers work out today. And they look like a team that's primed for another run towards a national championship. We are not hearing Chris at the moment there, Pat.
Uh-oh, Chris, are you able to hear us right now?
I see, but I do not hear.
Phil, you go on for a minute. I will get him reconnected right now.
Sorry, I'm back, guys. I've actually moved my broadcast location outside on my back porch tonight, so hopefully the internet will stay solid, but I did lose you for just a second. My apologies.
That's quite all right. If you heard the question, give the answer.
I did not hear the question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
About the time I lost you.
Okay, so basically what I was saying was, even though it's the first day of practice, I mean, Clemson, they've been through this a million times here. They know what it takes and what it looks like to practice like a champion, to prepare like a champion, and they certainly look like that today. And the big news, I guess I should throw it out there. The big news is, and we saw it in person. Dabo Swinney said Tayshaun Phommachanh, he's not 100% healthy, but he is way ahead of schedule. And he'll be playing sooner than later. And he was out practicing just like everybody else today in helmets and shorts and showing no ill effects from a torn Achilles tendon that he suffered back on April the 3rd. Here it is, August the 6th, and he is out there practicing pretty much full speed with everybody. That's amazing, Chris.
Nothing shy of remarkable, Phil. And I don't know if Pumachan or Justin Ross's story is more interesting from a medical standpoint. Justin Ross dealing with a neck injury where he could have easily had his career ended. And he's back, I think Dabo said 20 months, 18 months after this occurred and after the surgery to sort of fuse his neck. Just amazing what sports medicine can do for these athletes anymore. And I think Ross's story is really, really fascinating to watch because he is clearly one of the top wide receivers in the country. And I'll be curious to see now that he gets back how much the NFL scouts are going to maybe even scrutinize him further because of the injury. And obviously they're going to have to pay close attention as to whether or not his health is where it was before they found out about his neck issue. But just he getting back on the field is remarkable. And the fact that Pumachan may play before the season is done. And Dabo mentioned that, 2 weeks ago when we were up there for his Tuesday Media Olympics event, and then stressed it again at the ACC kickoff. So it just nothing shy of remarkable for those two athletes.
Yeah. And right now, Hunter Helms is running as the number 2 quarterback. He's a walk-on from Columbia, Gray Collegiate. And, he's picked things up considerably. And Dabo Swinney's never going to say a negative word. He feels like Hunter Helms can go in and lead the offense if necessary. But this is DJ Uiagalelei's team, no question about it. And he looks good out there. He looks good in person, just a big, tall, thick-looking young man who's ready to make his name for himself after getting a little bit of playing time last season. Sweeney said that cornerback Fred Davis, he said the accident that Davis was in, he said that's not of his character. He said he's never had any problems with him. He said there will be consequences, obviously within the program, outside the program. He said his discipline as far as Clemson is concerned, and they have a protocol, will be handled within the program. He did not elaborate on what that is. The discipline has already started. He did not say anything about missing games or anything like that at this point. I would imagine that will be coming. He did not take any questions on that. He also said the team's about 85. He said 84% on the vaccination side, about 84%. He expects them to be close to 100% before, after everybody gets in there and gets those second shots. He's very pleased with where they stand there. And he also said that Brandon Spector is recovering quickly from his injury and coming along, though I don't believe they expect him to be involved in camp here for the immediate future. So he said Ross is in a real good place. Justin Ross, he totally cleared by doctors to participate in practice. Though he's not practicing this week, he's in COVID protocol. So he's been cleared by the doctors from that neck issue, that spinal issue. But now he's got a COVID issue. So he is not practicing with the Tigers today or until next Friday. But otherwise, he's in a good place. And his mind is good. He's worked very hard and is ready to go. So I don't want to say too much else because we're going to hear from Dabo here in just a couple of moments. We're going to get Sweeney on here early, then make room for Scott Wingo to join us. And then in the next hour, Jeff Owens, Marshawn Lloyd, George Bryan III. It's just a packed, action-packed edition of Sports Talk tonight from Clemson and from Columbia and from down there in the PD. So why did you go outside and change locations?
Well, actually, my wife has a football scrimmage tonight. She works her football team is Trinity Collegiate over in Darlington. That's the team she's an athletic trainer for football, and they're actually scrimmaging at Myrtle Beach tonight. Mm-hmm. So I thought to maybe make it a little bit easier on my dog and keep Finn happy. We just both come outside, and he's out in the yard right now having a good time. So hopefully that'll keep him entertained for 2 hours while I try and entertain our audience with you.
Yes,
so it's the reason for the change. Now, once we get into the fall, when it's actually more comfortable out here, I may come out here more often.
Well, listen, what makes Finn happy makes us happy, okay? What makes him happy makes us happy. So that's all good. That's all good. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead before we do anything else, because we just heard from Dabo Swinney a couple hours ago. Let's go ahead and listen to Dabo Swinney from this afternoon. His well, not the first time he's met with the media, because we had ACC Media Days, and we had the session with him up at Clemson when they had the what was it, the Media Olympics or whatever they want to call it. Yeah. So here is Dabo from this afternoon leading into the start of practice, his thoughts about getting going on what many will believe is another ACC championship run, regardless of what happens in the Georgia game. Many believe will be another ACC championship run, another playoff appearance, and who knows, maybe a third national championship under Dabo Swinney. Here he is.
I'm really proud of our guys. It's been an incredible off season. I think you say, well, how do you compare that? Well, we have a lot of quantitative data, as far as how we can compare teams and where we are from a maturity standpoint, just like we have with our season stuff. But, where are we in the weight room? Where are we with our conditioning? Where are we with our leadership? Where are we with our chemistry? There's a lot of things that go into that. This group did an amazing job this year. I think we don't have the exact numbers, but we had a record number of PRs, personal records, as far as things that happen in the weight rooms. This team quantitatively is ahead of several teams that we've had in the past in some of our measurables. So I'm just really proud. I'm proud of the leadership and so forth, and really a focused team. We did have obviously one incredibly unfortunate situation with Fred Davis last month, and that's obviously everybody knows about that. And but I'm first of all thankful to the good Lord, and I'm thankful to all those people, the responders that were on the scene there. That what was an incredibly serious situation didn't become tragic, and so I'm really thankful, again, to the good Lord and all the people who were there. And as far as Fred goes, this is not of his character. I'm just incredibly disappointed in his decision making. It's just that simple. I mean, just poor decision, he's going to deal with lots of consequences for that. Certainly we've got policies in place from the university standpoint when it comes to misdemeanor charges and things like that will handle his discipline from an internal standpoint. But he'll have consequences from this for a long, long, long time. Again, that comes with there's consequences for our decisions. So it's not something that is prolonged. And he's had immediate consequences from the moment that this happened, and his team discipline has already started and will continue today. So I'm not going to really say anything else about Fred, but I do want to talk about some positive things, and that's our injury report. First and foremost, Justin Ross has been cleared to play football. It's been 18 months that this young man has been it's been unbelievable watching his journey. 18 months to get to this point, and just incredibly thankful for amazing doctors that he's had. But he put the work in, and his doctor has cleared him to return, and we've got some final paperwork that we got to have done by Monday. But unfortunately, on another note, I hate that you aren't going to get to see him practice today because he's in COVID protocol. So, but he's waited 18 months to get to this point. I think he will actually be able to rejoin us next Friday, just in time to go to the reserve and hang out on the lake. So, and obviously we won't scrimmage him next Saturday. But he's in great shape. He's had an awesome summer. It's not like these guys just show up here. I mean, he's been grinding all summer, skills and drills and all that stuff. But just really, again, thankful that he's got the opportunity to return and do something that he loves. Y'all, I think, all know about Taekwon with his right pec, so he's going to be out. That'll be a long-term injury there. Super excited about Tyson Pumachan, and I think y'all will be too when y'all see him today. He is another just miracle, to be honest with you. It's just amazing how he has responded, to the treatment. And again, everybody's different. First of all, it's we all respond differently to rehab and things like that. But then the type of work that he's put in, the type of sacrifice and discipline that he's applied to his training, and recovery has been amazing. But he looks great, and he's been cleared to do certain aspects of practice as well. And again, all I can tell you is I don't have a date or anything. I just say he's going to be back sooner than later. And what went from a immediate like horrible mindset in the spring to as the summer came along, it's like wow. So I'm excited that he will have an opportunity to be back. DeMonte Capehart had to have a little scope, but everything was good. They didn't have to repair anything, so he's on the fast track to get back going. But he'll be out in the immediate from a practice standpoint. But he is on a fast track to be back sooner than later. Banks Pope is a preferred walk-on guy coming in here as a tight end. He's tore his ACL back before he got here, so he's just here. We got him as a part of the rehab part of camp, so he's just rehabbing. The other one is Brandon Spector. He's a lot better too, from where y'all may or may not remember from the spring. We had to kind of hold him and limit him. He is a lot better than he was, but he's still kind of in the COVID protocol, if you will, and not fully cleared. So he probably will not participate in camp. But again, when they tell us he's good to go full speed, and then we'll be glad to get him back. But other than those guys, we're in a good shape from an injury standpoint. The team's ready to go, and excited to get back to practice.
Coach, a lot of speculated about how camp might be a little bit different with the limitations on contact, full pads, and drills that the NCAA has placed. Skowski told me a couple weeks ago he didn't expect things to be much different for y'all, but what about like your drills as far as the wind drill and the paw drill? Are those going to be adjusted at all?
Yeah, I don't know. They must have stolen my practice schedule for the last 12 years. When that all came out, I think a lot of coaches were like, "What?" And what they legislated is what we've been doing around here forever, with the exception of we've always done 3 scrimmages. We've done 2 true scrimmages, and one of them was a situation. And then the third one was all situational. So we'll still do the situational day, but it'll be all thud. And then I think it's 75 minutes of tackle. Not counting your scrimmages. I have never ever had a practice of 75 minutes of tackle. Like the most we've ever been live is maybe 30 minutes. On a 50-50 type day. So they said you got to have. I can't remember what it is. 7 days in shorts. I think last year we did 9 or 10 days. And that's the same that's been for 12 years around here. So the only adjustment for us is they specifically said we can't do paw drill. So the wind drill is that's a totally different deal. That's within the rules. But the paw drill, which to me is the safest drill we do. We don't ever get anybody hurt in paw drill. We get guys hurt in shorts. But that's the rule that was put forth, and so we'll just you got to do 11-on-11 type stuff to get what you need. You can't do 3-on-3. The old home drill, what we call paw drill forever and ever and ever. So that's the only adjustment. That and then the third situation. I don't want to call anybody out, but if you got a whole position group, and you only got one guy that's not vaccinated, well, you're no big deal there. But if you got one position group and there's 12 and 8 of them are vaccinated, you just want to make sure that you have to mitigate that properly. So, but we're in a good spot. Guys have done a really good job, and excited to get going.
Dabo, what strides have you seen out of DJ Uiagalelei as he kind of heads into camp?
I just think this time last year he was had not had a camp yet. He had not been a part of a game, week, and how we prepare for a game week, all that stuff. He's been there, done that now, and he had a chance to have a front row seat to Trevor all year. I think that has served him well. He's just mentally in a different place, and he was way ahead last year from a typical freshman. But his whole mindset is different. His maturity, his leadership role, all those things. I've seen him assert himself a lot better. He's stronger. He's in great shape. I was messing with him yesterday. I called him Little Cinco. I told him if he was anywhere in the 4s, he'd be Little Cinco. If he gets back in the 5s, he goes back to Big Cinco. So, but he's excited about the opportunity, and we are too.
Sweeney from earlier today up here at Clemson, leading us into the start of the Tigers practice. All of that is up on our website, sportstalksc.com. He went about 49 minutes or so, and you can hear it all right there on our website, sportstalksc.com. And typical Dabo Sweeney, very optimistic about things, and loves the work ethic of his team. Feels like they have done the right things in the offseason to dedicate themselves to staying healthy, getting better, getting stronger, and getting over injuries in a hurry. I mean, Chris, my goodness, it's amazing their track record of getting guys healthy from severe injuries. The ACL of Amari Rogers, he was back to play a significant part of his last season at Clemson. And now you've got Tyshawn Pumachan, who, suffered a torn Achilles on April the 3rd. And here it is, as I said earlier, August the 6th, he's out there practicing. I didn't notice a limp. I didn't notice any sort of protective device on his lower foot or anything like that, his ankle. Now, they're not going to cut him loose and all that. He hasn't been, I guess, totally cleared for everything yet. But, I mean, Dabo Sweeney led you to believe, Chris, that if they need a backup quarterback at some point in the season, maybe relatively early, it would be number 7. He'll be ready to go.
I got the sense from listening to him a couple of weeks ago and sort of reaffirmed that today that come October, he's going to be in the mix. He won't be the starter, I don't think. But if something were to happen to DJ, I think Tyson is right in the mix, ready to go. And I don't know how much they're paying Danny Poole, the athletic trainer up at Clemson. It's not enough.
Yeah.
The job that sports medicine department does in getting their athletes back and much faster than most people believe is possible is just amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. And Dabo brought up something, Phil, that has always bothered me about college football. And it's the amount of practice time that the NCAA dictates to them that they have to do the acclimatization process. Here we are in the South, and we have these athletes going through an entire off season of summer workouts and conditioning in the heat throughout in June and July. And then all of a sudden we come to August, they open up fall camp and wait a minute, we can't put pads on these kids. They've got to go through 3 or 4 days in shorts and helmets to get ready and used to the heat.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing and ridiculous exercise that we do. We've got basketball teams that practice now virtually year round. They have summer practice, full team practice now. It's become a year-round sport. Football's the same way. I've never understood why the NCAA wants to dictate how much time the coaches can have with their players. Dabo pointed this out. They don't go live for more than about 30 or 40, maybe an hour at a time. The coaches know what they can get out of their players, and they realize if I get my guys hurt because practice is too hard, I'm going to lose my job because I'm going to lose too many games. And that's one thing that I guess the NCAA wants to stand on ceremony with regards to this. And I've never played at that level. So, again, take my opinion for what it's worth. But it just seems ridiculous and fruitless on the surface.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm thinking that maybe because not everybody is like Sweeney and doesn't limit the amount of time that he works with his players or the amount of physicality. I mean, if you cut some coaches loose, they'd practice you 3 hours every day in full pads and full contact nonstop. I mean, that's their mindset. And so what they have to do, of course, is limit everybody to limit some. And also, you said, I think, did you say grandstand? Maybe it is a little bit of the NCAA saying, look, we're trying to be careful here at the outset of practice. We don't want any catastrophic situation to crop up because of conditioning or heat or anything like that. So they can say, look, we put in these rules to bring them along slowly and let them get used to conditions. Even though they've been conditioning, we can say, look, we put these in for the safety of the players, and nobody can criticize them for that. Okay, we'll hit a break. Talk some baseball coming up with Scott Wingo here on Sports Talk.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's your weekend forecast. Overnight rain possible and carrying over into Saturday. Tonight's low is 72 degrees. Tomorrow, a 50% chance of more shower activity. The high temp up to 86. For Sunday, much nicer with mostly sunny skies and 91 the high. Looking ahead, high temps in the lower 90s all week. Have a safe weekend. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court is being asked to block a plan by Indiana University to require students and employees to get vaccinated against COVID-19. It's the first time the High Court has been asked to weigh in on a vaccine mandate and comes as some corporations, states, and cities are also weighing vaccine requirements for workers or even to dine indoors. Two lower courts have allowed Indiana University to proceed with the plan it announced in May requiring COVID-19 vaccinations for the fall semester. Students who don't comply will have their registration canceled, and workers who don't will lose their jobs. The policy does have religious and medical exemptions, but exempt students must wear masks and be tested twice a week. On Wall Street, the Dow by 144 points, the NASDAQ down 59. This is SRN News.
So your home is your castle. I work hard all day. My reward is time at my home with my family, living comfortably. I don't want to worry for a moment about bugs and pests. I've had Palmetto Exterminators taking care of my home for 19 years. Now, that's a long time without worrying about pest control or infestation or termites, and that's because Palmetto Exterminators takes care of it all. Might not matter to some people, but you know what it does to me? They're family-owned. They've been doing this the right way for over 60 years. The staff is courteous. They're clean. They're totally professional. And you know, it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection. They'll customize a program to fit your needs and your family's budget. They offer a lifetime warranty with their termite agreement. Now, I speak from experience. Like I said, 19 years with the same company. I can't give a more glowing recommendation than the one I proudly give to Palmetto Exterminators. Online, palmettoexterminators.net, or call my guy, Ron Byers, 254-5833. That's 254-5833, Palmetto Exterminators.
School is out, summer is here, and Woods and Water SC is your doorway to the outdoors.
The outdoors can be lots of fun, but it can be very unforgiving. So here are a few tips to keep in mind this summer.
If you go hiking, please stay on the trail and remember the principles of leave no trace.
If you're going boating, hook up to that engine kill switch and know the rules of the road.
Most of all, always keep your eye on the weather. It can change in a minute. So whatever you plan to do in the outdoors, tune into Woods and Water SC.
Because you never know who will be on or what we'll be talking about this Saturday afternoon.
That's from 3 to 4 right here on our home in the Midlands, 100.7 The Point.
Fran Halloran here. What am I looking for when I make a recommendation to you? I'm looking for integrity, ethics, intentionality. When it comes to your mortgage needs, Greg McCoy from Simplified Mortgage Solutions needs to be your only call. There are plenty of national mortgage companies with fancy names and fancy schemes out there. Don't be fooled. Simplified Mortgage Solutions will meet or beat any national lender's proposal. Greg is local, and I love local. Born and raised in the Midlands of South Carolina, Greg will treat you as if you are his only client as you go through the mortgage process. Simplified Mortgage Solutions specializes in conventional, VA, USDA, and FHA mortgages. They can do it all. I trust them, and so can you. I've worked with Greg for a while now, and everyone I've referred to him has thanked me after the fact. Online at simplifiedmortgagesc.com or just call Simplified Mortgage Solutions at 803-722-6044. That's 803-722-6044, and tell them the Money Coach sent you.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19
Dad,
vaccines.
you're going to get the COVID-19 vaccine, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the vaccines were made too fast. Who knows what they put in that stuff?
Dr. Johnson, and he told me the vaccines are safe and effective.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dad. I need you to stay healthy. So can we look into the vaccines more together?
Sure. Anything for you, sweetheart.
Visit scdheck.gov/vaxlocator to find a vaccine location near you.
Back we are, Sports Talk Media Network across the state of South Carolina on this Founders Federal Football Friday night here in South Carolina. I know we don't have any games, but we got practice. We love practice. But you know what? We're going to interrupt all this football talk for a little bit to go around the horn, Mr. Bergen.
Yes, we are. Presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Our good friends Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County in the upstate. You can check Buddy out at 864. Don't call him now. Office hours are done. You wait until Monday. Give him a call, 864-923-2174. Same is true for Alex Satterfield. They may actually be working in the office past typical hours because they're hardworking guys, but don't bother them after 6 o'clock on a Friday. Alex Satterfield in Columbia, 803-749-9171. You just make sure you get your home, auto, life, and health insurance taken care of through Farm Bureau Insurance. And we're going to use this opportunity, Phil, for you. A really, really special guest, a guy who knows a thing or two about going around the horn.
Yes, indeed he does. We welcome in new assistant baseball coach at South Carolina, former Gamecock great, the legend himself, Scott Wingo, joining us here live on Sports Talk. And it's a pleasure to have you with us once again. How are you, sir?
Phil, I'm doing great. Thank you for the intro right there, man. I'm excited to be back and just can't wait to get down to Columbia.
Yeah, we only speak the truth here on Sports Talk. Now, can you believe it's come full circle for you?
Man, it's when I say humbled, man, it really is. It's awesome to even think about. Yesterday it felt like almost when I was with my oldest brother, Brad, at Malden High School when I was committing to South Carolina. I called Ray Tanner on our baseball field at Malden High School. And it felt really similar to that day. Just the amount of support I got yesterday, the text messages was it just showed me how much South Carolina not only is home, but just the amount of support this baseball team gets is incredible. It's awesome.
So, when these things happen, there's usually a little bit of a background to it, and these things develop over time. Did you know, as things were developing at South Carolina after the season, as coaches were getting new jobs and Coach Lake decided to step aside and do something else, did you know that this was going to come your way and you'd have this opportunity? Tell us about the background.
Well, this summer I've been doing camps all summer, and I've been traveling around. I've been pretty much to every state you can think of, and I just been working, and when I found out there's some coaches leaving, you obviously, ears kind of pin up a little bit, and you reach out. So I reached out to Coach Kingston, and nobody knew exactly what was going to happen, but when Coach Lake decided that he's going to, pursue something out of baseball, was able to speak with Coach Kingston, and just kind of the stars aligned, Phil. It was just unbelievable. You're just excited to get this opportunity. I mean, again, up at Notre Dame, Link Jarrett and his staff, great people, awesome people. And man, I know you know a little bit about our season. We had a good year, lost to Mississippi State Bulldogs at their place, but my time up at Notre Dame was awesome and absolutely ready to go. Ready to get to Columbia and get to work, man. I'm just excited.
Y'all did have a great year, and the release that they put out about you yesterday had some stats, and one thing that just grabbed me, and I know you must have had something to do with it. Team fielding team fielding percentage of .985. Now, I mean, that's like almost unheard of in baseball today. I mean, how much did you work with those infielders?
You know, I work with primarily outfielders, but always, you know, Link Jarrett's a great infield guy, you know, and I would assist with him for sure. I always work with, you know, a lot more so the middle guys, but obviously try to work with everybody. And those guys work their tail off, man. In practice, it's funny. I'd always bring up Jackie Bradley Jr. definitely to our outfielders and the whole defense, and emphasize how much he took. Not only batting practice, but practice. You know, he took those balls off the bat like they were games. And I think that's what it's not the game that you're not getting better during the game. The game's just the fun part. That's when you get to basically show off, you know. Batting practice is when we've got to get better. And those guys took it personal out there. And it showed this year, man. They had an unbelievable, you know, defensive year, and man, we were a game away from getting to the big dance in Omaha.
Talking with Scott Wingo, former Gamecock greats, now a member of the coaching staff. So what will your role be with the coaching staff? And do you know yet, like, who's going to be coaching in the boxes and things like that? Perhaps you?
Yes, sir. I believe so. I'm gonna be the outfield coach. I will assist with the infielders. Work with the hitters as well. And as far as I know right now, I believe I'll be the third base coach. So Phil, I'm going to be sending them home more than stopping them. I promise you.
Well, now let me ask you this. I mean, knowing you, how much are you going to play to that group up there behind third base?
Well, Phil, you know, it's going to be good. I think, you know, when they start yelling, they'll probably get me a little fired up. So, depending on the day, you know, if the fans need a little juice, or if our guys need a little bit of juice that day, we might get those fans going a little bit.
Yeah.
Scott, can you give us an idea as to how difficult the SEC was when you played versus what you're now inheriting as a coach, considering both Vanderbilt and Mississippi State played for a national championship this year? It looks like the league just continues to get better. Is it considerably better, in your opinion, than it was when you played?
I think, you know, I might be biased, but I think it was tough back then, and I think it's just as tough. You know, there's not an easy weekend series in the SEC, you know, and I know back in 2008 to 2011, we had some really tough opponents. I mean, Kentucky, I can't think right now of a weak opponent that we played all the time that we just beat up on. You know, Kentucky always gave us a tough series when I was back in my day. But I don't think it's tougher now than back then. But I'll tell you what, 2008 and 2009 teams, we had some really good talent. You know, James Darnell, Reese Havens, Justin Smoke, Phil Disher, and we didn't make it out of a regional. But I tell you what, those teams right there were good. You know, and it didn't go our way. But I don't think it's tougher. No, sir, I don't think it's tougher, Chris.
Speaking with Scott Wingo, former Gamecock baseball player, now the newest member of the coaching staff, moving in from Notre Dame to take over as a volunteer assistant coach. And Scott, if you don't mind, let's reminisce. I am sure when the release went out, there was one person who was probably great. He's going back to South Carolina, Brian O'Connor, head coach of Virginia. Take us back, if you don't mind, to that remarkable 13-inning game you guys had against them back in the World Series, and some of the terrific defensive plays you and your infield mates made to be able to push USC through that game.
Yes, sir. That game was unbelievable. I mean, there was a few games in that College World Series where you go back and look nowadays, 10 years later, and you're just kind of shaking your head like, man, we were ready to go, you know. And a lot of times there was a couple breaks too. Don't get me wrong, we had some breaks go your way, but there was about 9 guys on that field and about 20 in the dugout, whatever you want to call it, that were ready for the moment. And we weren't scared. We had bases loaded plenty of times. I remember Matt Price had bases loaded 2 or 3 times against Virginia that game. made some big pitches. I remember Mooney got him a 6-4-3, and then that line shot right to me, and Mooney broke right away, and that's when we doubled him off second base. And I don't think you're going to make those plays or those pitches. Matt Price made some huge pitches. If some of those pitches are probably a little bit up in the zone, that little line drive might be a little line shot over my head. So everybody played a part in that, and just had about 30 guys in that dugout that were, in my opinion, just fearless, and we just were ready to go every game.
Scott, speaking of Matt Price, just watching as a reporter, fan, loving college baseball, he seemed to get better when the situation got more difficult. As a teammate of his, did you see his pitching ability and his competitiveness maybe get better when he got himself into those situations where there were second and third and nobody out, or bases loaded and one out, and he had to make a pitch?
I agree 100% with you. And Matt Price, great guy. Last time I saw him, I believe he's a police officer in Sumter. Could have changed jobs now, but not sure. But I tell you what, when he got on the mound, he was a different person. In the locker room, he wasn't as serious as he is. Just a very nice, good person. But when he got on the mound, it was go time. Like he kind of flipped the switch. And the second baseman, you felt like not the game's over, but just get ready for something. Because if anything, it's going to be a soft contact or strikeout, but just be ready to go. And you always were confident when Matt Price was on the mound.
Visiting with Scott Wingo, new assistant baseball coach at South Carolina, a couple of more minutes. I mean, you can talk about all the plays you made in your career at South Carolina, but, I mean, the one that I remember most vividly, the one against Florida in the championship series, with Piggott at the plate, a speedster, and the bases loaded, and Tanner brings the infield in. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean,
oh yeah,
the ball comes. Was it right at you? Did you have to move left or right? And what happened on the throw?
That ball couldn't have been more right at me. If you would have placed it there, and it was just probably right at my chest, and I took my sweet time on that throw. If you can go rewind that, because the play before is when I short hopped it to Barry, and he picked it with his glove. But I took my time on that play just because we've got to get this guy. We got to get the guy at the plate, and Barry turned that real quick and fired it, hosed it over there. But I agree with Coach. You had to bring the infield in there. The guy could fly. You couldn't really risk. I don't think you can risk just trying to turn a double play. You got to for sure get this guy out the plate. So ground ball either way, you got to get the guy out the plate. So I don't know if we can turn it. So as always, I'm with Coach on that one.
Yeah, that was a great play. I'm up here at Doug Kingsmore looking out the Clemson baseball field where, of course, your dad had a fabulous career, but you have any particular memories up here at DKS or playing the Tigers?
I remember, Phil, I hit a home run there, and I remember taking my sweet time, running around the bases. And I forgot who their catcher was. It wasn't John Nestor. I think it was the guy before him. I think I was a freshman that year. So whoever their catcher was in 2008 basically told me to get off the field. Hey, he was letting me have it. He said a couple good words to me. But I just remember smiling at him and just ran over to the dugout. But I remember I hit a home run in that field, and we beat them a few times, so that's good memories over there, Phil.
I bet. Were you okay? You were in the heated bat game?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, Phil, we had a little. It was cold, so we had a little heater over there in the dugout, and keeping us warm. And I don't know who thought about it, but we decided to just throw a few of those cold bats over there close to the heater. Not too close, close enough. So
wait a minute. Are you admitting that you guys heated the bats?
No, Phil. I'll say this, Phil. That heater was that heater is near the little training table, so
Uh-huh.
I was over there near that heater too. So you know what? All I know is those bats weren't too cold. It
not
might
the
have been
one.
45.
Not the one that Jackie Bradley took to the plate. Holy cow!
Jackie Bradley hit that opposite field homer. That ball was smoked.
Yes, it
Man.
was. Yes, and I tell you, the back and forth. That's when we had the rain delay during the series. We had extra days, and the back and forth between the teams, the coaches, the players. It was great. I thought it was great for the series. I think it really raised the level of interest and had everybody pumped up. Before we let you go, what do you think you can bring to the Gamecock baseball team? They've been knocking on that door to Omaha and just need to get back over that hump. What do you think you can do?
Well, a lot of times as a coach, I kind of, when I'm in practice, when I'm in the game, a lot of times for me, my juices get flowing as like I'm playing, So I'm going to bring a tenacity to the team. I'm going to bring a work ethic that they're going to see each and every day. I'm going to bring it every day. And a lot of times when I had a great coach, I'll never forget, my dad he coached me up until I was probably 14 years old. And he brought it every day, and that made me want to, reciprocate that for him. Play, I felt like I played the way he showed me how to play, and I think that carries over to those guys, and they're going to play hard for you, and they're going to play the right way and go win some ball games.
Do you want to give us your traditional press conference sign off?
Well, other than Phil, you got one of the best shows in the state of South Carolina. I love listening to you.
No. Don't you know every time you finished up a press conference, you'd always say after the last question, your answer, and you go, "That's all I got."
Phil, that's on me, man. Hey, Phil, that's all I got.
That's all I got. That's all I got. All right, my man. Listen, congratulations. Look forward to seeing you with the Gamecocks and following your success with those guys. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me on, Phil. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Scott.
Scott Wingo, man, I tell you, Chris, they don't make them like him.
No.
They broke the mold. Of course, he's a lot like his dad. I know his dad a little bit. Great man and great family, and that's going to be this new group that Mark Kingston's put together. I mean, they all look very, very positive to me. He's going to have a really good coaching staff to work with.
Well, in Wingo, when you think of infielder, middle infielder in particular, isn't that what you draw up? A guy like him that just loves baseball, would rather have a dirty jersey that he can wear all weekend as opposed to a clean one. I mean, he just fits the mold of a second baseman. And what he was saying about the job he did with the outfielders in Notre Dame and their defense this past season, I think if you're a Gamecock fan, you're going to be extremely encouraged. Not that Carolina played bad defense, but to get a .985 fielding percentage, it's almost unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think he's going to bring that youthful enthusiasm and the love of the program and the knowledge of the program and the connection with the fans. That stuff that's intangible stuff that can help you in so many ways. We'll hit a break. Be right back.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup Series. 2 races, 1 epic Sunday. The playoffs begin at Darlington with the 72nd running of the Southern 500, September 4th through the 5th. Adult tickets start at $50, with kids starting at just $10. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. South Carolina is just right.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history. And with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo. 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
I learned that people are just looking for somebody to listen to them. You can't just start cutting somebody's hair and you're going to be quiet the whole time because you're not going to be in business long.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has provided over $800 million to help students attend technical colleges across our state, investing in a new generation of entrepreneurs, just like James. Your passion is our purpose.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk here with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, if there's one thing baseball fans love as much as their teams, it's being on the water.
That's right, Phil. DNR wants to remind boaters to file a float plan before you go on the water this summer. Let family or friends know where you're going and when you plan to return. Be specific and always wear your life jacket. It just might save your life. Take a boater education course and have a great summer.
The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and Technology at Florence Darlington Technical College specializes in sophisticated manufacturing services and workforce development training. The SIMT offers rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, advanced machining, and business incubation services to clients from across the state and nation, plus social media listening services and rentals of conferencing and training spaces. The SIMT also houses an 800-seat auditorium, a conference center that can seat more than 1,200 for dinner or a luncheon, and numerous classroom spaces with state-of-the-art presentation technologies. Visit our website at simt.com or call 866-304-7468 for more information. The SIMT, technology to grow your business.
Man, that was so much fun with Scott Wingo. Appreciate him being on with us tonight. What a character. It's going to be great at South Carolina. Haven't had a chance to mention our phone number, our South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number when we can get the calls. Not sure if we'll get the calls tonight. And that, of course, is 888-898-2525. But did you know that since 2002, more than $6 billion in lottery proceeds have been used to support South Carolina educational programs? Learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at seeducationlottery.com/education wins. Playing for fun is a win for education. All right, we'll have recruiting. A couple of notes coming up. One player committed this evening that South Carolina had been involved with, Jalon Glover, running back from Lakeland, Florida, commits to the Utah Utes. So he's heading out there to play for Utah in the Pac. What is it, 10, 12, Pac-10? I can't keep up. Is it the Pac-10, Pac-whatever?
Big 12, yeah.
Yeah, really?
We joined the Big 12. What is the story behind that? Do you know what the attraction to Utah is?
Yeah, some of the coaches out there he's had a relationship with for a while. So I think that kind of, from what I've read, that kind of won out. I thought South Carolina would have a real good chance. He really enjoyed his official visit. And when Florida took another running back, I thought, well, that's certainly going to help South Carolina. But whatever Utah was telling him and whatever these guys was telling him turned out to be more important to him than that. We'll update the South Carolina Amateur in detail with GB3 when he joins us, but they are playing. I guess they've had some rain issues because it's in round 2 and some guys are early in their rounds still. So I guess they've had some rain delay as the rain has moved across the state. But Oliver Roderman from Daniel Island is your leader. He's in. He's got 2 rounds in. He's 8 under after a 70 today and a 66 yesterday. So right now, he is your clubhouse leader, 2 shots ahead of Zach Adams of Charleston. More details on that coming up when George joins us a little bit later on. I've been busy up here at Clemson. Chris, did you notice anything else we should mention here tonight that's happened around the state or around the world for that matter that's important?
You know what's funny? Once you get into the first day of football camp for colleges, it's almost like all the other sports news goes by the wayside.
Agreed.
Because everything gets sucked in with the start of fall camp. It's such a big day around the country, especially in our neck of the woods. It may not be as big up in the Northeast, but especially down here, it just sucks the air out of everything, as football normally does in our country. Did you happen, though, speaking of football, to watch any of the Steelers-Cowboys last night?
I think I saw like the last 30 seconds of the first half.
If you were looking for a cure for insomnia, that was your game last night. 3-0 in the opening half. Oh, my gosh, terrible football. Another reason why preseason is way, way too long in the NFL.
And they're having Fan Fest tonight up at Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium for the Panthers fans. All right, we'll be back.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle stuffed with Bart is 107 The Point.
A new report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention COVID-19 vaccines boost immunity, even among people who have already recovered from infection.
Researchers looked at a group of Kentucky residents who'd had a coronavirus infection in the fall of 2020. COVID-19 survivors who failed to get vaccinated were more than twice as likely to get
guarantee deliveries, Martin Griffiths said a humanitarian ceasefire was needed. The Ethiopian government says it is in favor, but Tigray's rebels are expanding into neighboring Amhara. Mr. Griffith said that the best way to ensure the survival of the people of Tigray was to stop the conflict.
BBC correspondent Imogene Folks reporting. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point. And here's your weekend forecast. Overnight rain possible and carrying over into Saturday. Tonight's low is 72 degrees. Tomorrow, a 50% chance of more shower activity. The high temp up to 86. For Sunday, much nicer with mostly sunny skies and 91 the high. Looking ahead, high temps in the lower 90s all week. Have a safe weekend. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. Please press button now. No, number 1.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut up at Clemson where the sun is setting off to the west. Beautiful afternoon here in Clemson. And I imagine across the state, things have lightened up a little bit weather-wise, and we're looking forward to a great weekend, though I think there is still a chance of some rain in some parts of the state. Otherwise, everything is really cool. Enjoyed hearing from Dabo Sweeney in the first hour. Enjoyed having Scott Wingo with us as well. Coming up, Jeff Owens on NASCAR, George Bryan III on golf, including the South Carolina Am, and going to hear from Marshawn Lloyd. I think the guy that Gamecock fans cannot wait to see. Number 1 is his uniform number. You know they've got a great running back in Kevin Harris, but you cannot have enough great running backs. And these two guys should complement each other very well with their running styles. So we'll hear from him coming up in just a little bit. Before we get to Jeff, I wanted to mention just this one note that I've come across, Chris. Terry Bowden is taking a leave of absence at ULM, where he's the new head coach, to take care of his father, Bobby Bowden, and a former SEC coordinator to be the interim head coach. But, I mean, that's all you have to say about that. That is priceless, that he is walking away from his job to go take care of his dad. As we all know, it was announced during SEC Media Days that Bobby Bowden is now terminal with his health issues, and so his son is going to be there with him. I imagine Bobby Bowden is going to be there, and the other son as well. Mm-hmm. So family's going to rally around here, and this could be an indication too that the time is near.
Well, it's interesting you bring this up, Phil, because I was actually reading that story during the top of the hour break, and it's going to be Rich Rodriguez taking over as the interim coach of ULM. How about that? And Louisiana Monroe, you want to talk about great hires during the offseason? And Louisiana Monroe has not had a tremendous football tradition in the Sun Belt, but to be able to lure not just Terry Bowden in, but also to get Rich Rodriguez to come in and ultimately, because of circumstances way beyond anyone's control, he's going to be the interim head coach. Somewhat remarkable as they get ready to open the season at Kentucky on September the 4th.
I'll tell you what, if Rich Rod gets his offense going, whether it's at Michigan or whether he's at West Virginia or when he was at Clemson or when he was at Tulane and now at ULM. I mean, if he gets it going, they can be good on offense. That offense of his is special. He has the right people in place. So that'll be interesting to watch, to say the least. One other thing I wanted to mention, too, didn't mention this earlier, but Dabo Sweeney was in a good mood. I mean, this really was a nice gesture because he was really crediting the group of reporters, and we're excluded because we're not up here every day, but the group that covers him and his program every day, and that group was with Clemson last season every day through all the COVID stuff. Mm-hmm. And that affected everybody, the coaches, the players, the media that covered them. Not that the media is looking for any sympathy or any favors, but they were impacted as well. And so what he's done is today he opened up practice, the entire practice, to the media, and he's opening up tomorrow's practice to the media. Now you might say, well, what's the big whoopee on that? You know, they're in helmets and shorts, and they're not doing anything that is important, and that's true. You're exactly right. They're not, but it's a nice gesture, nonetheless, that he wants to kind of reward those folks who've been around the program and hung in there through COVID with a chance to watch an entire practice. I thought that was pretty special.
I would agree with that, and especially considering that coaches are so secretive. Even right now, Phil, you get to watch 6 periods, and then you have to turn the cameras off and leave. Yeah, I was fascinated that Dabo said that. He said, "Yeah, come on back out here. Matter of fact, you can stay all day today if you want. Come back out tomorrow and watch more practice." So I thought it was a nice gesture on his part, and it would be nice to see a little more transparency in a lot of these programs. I understand why they don't, but let's face it: if Georgia is watching Clemson practice film to gain an edge, Kirby Smart's in a whole lot of trouble. if they're trying to see an edge, because most everything that the guys do in practice that anybody would film is about as vanilla as it will come. They know what they're going to do against Georgia. They'll implement that as we get a week or so out. But yeah, if Kirby Smart's trying to see something on day 2 of helmets and shorts, yeah, he's got a lot bigger issues than worrying about the Tigers.
Well, look, I got a few secrets I'm going to share coming off of what I saw today.
Okay.
DJ Uyangalele, he's got a nice arm. Frank Latson and Joe, and those receivers as a group, they're really good. And the addition of Justin Ross is going to make them even better. Here's another boys.
This weekend, they took a very rare 2 straight weeks off, and then we'll finish up the season with 14 straight races. So back to normal, and it should be an exciting finish to the year.
Yeah, we're starting to really get down that stretch toward the playoffs now. Darlington's right around the corner, so we're going to be watching the points very closely and seeing who's going to be moving in and moving out. But again, when you go to the road course, we're talking about a few select drivers who you really think will have a chance to win, right?
Yeah. Particularly here. I mean, Chase Elliott is still the guy. I mean, I think the last I looked, he's won 7 of the last 11 races on road courses, which is pretty amazing. He's won the last 2 at Watkins Glen. They didn't race there last year because of COVID, but he won there in 2018 and 2019. And in both of those races, Martin Truex Jr. finished second. So those are clearly the 2 guys to beat at that track. And, it's a track over the years that sort of favored your veteran guys who are typically good on road. course, good on road course. Question, Chase Elliott is by far the guy to beat again.
You pick up any nice stories from the 2 weeks that the guys were off? I mean, anything funny that you heard that they were doing vacation-wise, or just anything like that around the shops?
Yeah, not really. I mean, some of the guys took some vacations. So one interesting story, I was in Chicago last week for the National Sports Collectors Convention, and Ty Dillon was there. Austin Dillon's brother. That's one interesting tidbit I picked up. Austin and Ty are big sports card collectors, primarily football and baseball cards. They're really into that sort of thing. So Ty was out there in Chicago as a guest of one of the companies, and was sort of making the rounds, doing some podcasts and things like that. So, they all pick up. The thing these days is most of these guys, they may take a brief vacation with the family, but the trend these days is most of them are off racing somewhere. The teams are allowing these guys to run dirt track races and sprint car races, and there doesn't seem the concern there used to be a few years ago about those guys getting hurt doing that. But Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, a lot of these guys are, when they're off, they're racing somewhere. I read where Eric Almirola, he won the last race at New Hampshire, took a little bit of a vacation with his family, and then took off last week, and he spent last week running dirt track races up in the Midwest. So a lot of these guys, vacation to them is racing. So, they take advantage of that.
Sure.
Jeff Owens in the fast lane with us here tonight on Sports Talk. And Jeff, I was watching some of the results going on right now at the ARCA race up at Watkins Glen. And at one point in time, Chase Briscoe was up towards the top of the leaderboard. This is a young man who's won Xfinity races at Charlotte and also in Indianapolis. With his move over next season to take over for Stuart Haas at the Cup Series, replacing Clint Boyer, is he coming into your mind as a road course ringer, or is he a well-rounded driver that he can make a serious impact for them?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's a pretty well-rounded guy. He won a lot of races in the Xfinity Series. I think he had 7 last year, and they were pretty spread out. But he is a very good road course guy. He won several road course races in the Xfinity Series, and he's been pretty good this year on those tracks. He's had a tough rookie year, a lot tougher than most people expected. But you look at it, and all of Stuart Haas has struggled this year. I mean, we're sitting here 4 races from the playoffs. Kevin Harvick hasn't won a race yet. So it's been a tough year for those guys. Almirola won the last race out at New Hampshire. That was their first win all year. So Briscoe, I think, has been a little bit of a victim of that. The organization has struggled. Him being a rookie, he has struggled as well. But I would not be surprised to see him be a contender at Watkins Glen. He's got a lot of experience on that track in the Xfinity Series, and he is a pretty good road course guy. So this could be a weekend where we see him running up front, and wouldn't surprise me to see him have a strong finish because of the season, because he is a very talented guy, and as Stuart Haas gets better, I think he'll wind up finishing up strong this season, and I think he'll be a guy to watch next year.
So you anticipate Stuart Haas fixing whatever issues they currently have. Is this an aberration for them, or do they have serious concerns, especially with Kevin Harvick and his team?
Yeah, I think they just got behind. I think, the 4 teams have been a little bit behind this year, and if you're just a little bit off for whatever reason, it can look like you're way behind, particularly when you have teams like Hendrick Motorsports who are on top of their game. Hendrick sort of dominated the first half of the season. Joe Gibbs Racing was right there as well. And for some reason, Stuart Haas just sort of got off of their game a little bit. They didn't quite keep up with all the changes that were made and some of the adjustments that these teams had to make in aero and setups going into this season. And like I said, when you get a little bit off, it can look like you're way off, particularly when you have a team who really hits it like Hendrick Motorsports. So I think they're catching up a little bit. the fact that Almirola ran so well at New Hampshire and won that race, that was not a fluke. He was great in that race. Their cars were definitely better. Harvick has been getting a little bit better, so I think they're close to getting back. Now, whether they can beat Hendrick week to week, I don't know, but I think they're close to getting back competitive again. I wouldn't be surprised if Harvick wins one here pretty soon, and they make some noise in the playoffs.
Jeff, there's a story out today that NASCAR is actually going to present Wendell Scott's family with a trophy for his win at the 1964 Speedway Park race in Jacksonville. I realized it was almost 60 years ago. Buck Baker was actually scored as a race winner before a review showed that Scott was the actual winner. But how big a deal is this to maybe recognize already a Hall of Famer, but recognize Wendell Scott for a victory 60 years after it occurred?
Yeah, I think that's a great deal for NASCAR to do that. The story back then, of course, it's in the 60s, a lot of racial unrest and a lot of civil rights stuff going on. And he won that race outright. Everybody knows he did. But they did not present that trophy to him because of the times and the tension. A lot of fans were not happy with him winning that race. There was some ugly stuff that went on, and they sort of had to get him out of that racetrack because back then people just couldn't handle seeing a black man win a race like that. It was an unfortunate thing. Now, over the years, he was scored as the winner of that race. It went down in his record. That turned out to be the only race he ever won. So I think this is extremely significant. It's something that should have happened a long, long time ago. They did honor Wendell Scott several years ago by inducting him into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, which I think was a great deal. His family was there, and his family continues to be around the sport from time to time. So I think this is a great deal. They're righting a wrong that took way too long to address. So I think it's a great move by NASCAR.
As a follow-up to that, I stumbled upon this the other night, but on the Vice Network, which I don't know what the Vice Network is, but I just happened to stumble upon it, and they were doing a series. This was one episode in a series on lost racetracks in North Carolina. Can't remember the name of the series. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this particular episode, and I called it In Progress, was about the Carolina Raceway, somewhere in North Carolina, completely grown over with weeds and grass and everything else. It's a dirt track, but you could see they had an overhead shot. You could see the, I guess it's an oval or kind of an oval. You could see the stands, and apparently they're going around the state of North Carolina, I think, and doing this series. Are you familiar?
Was that the Dale Jr. show? Or was it different?
It was somebody else. Did not know the drive.
Yeah, because Dale Jr. has a very similar show to that, and that's probably where they got the idea. Dale Jr. has a show. I think it runs on one of the NBC networks, maybe the Peacock channel or something like that. But that's what he does. He goes around and he takes a look at old historic racetracks that have been closed down for years, and we'll typically take a guest with him, somebody who drove or won there, or somebody who really knows that track inside and out. And that's turned into a pretty good show. I've seen that before. That's pretty good. But, there are a lot of racetracks across the country. We did a little bit of that when we were running the magazine. We would send a writer out to certain tracks. Mike Hembry, I think you know Mike. He did that. He did that for us. He went to the old racetrack they ran that used to be there at Soldier Field in Chicago. And there's one there in Columbia, the old Columbia Speedway there, which I think is a concert venue now.
Correct.
There were a lot of historic races run at that facility. There's an old track here in Charlotte that they ran at before they built Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that property is still there. So I think that's a fascinating subject because there are a lot of historic NASCAR tracks out there that have been out of business for a while, but the facility and the track is still there. We hear about North Wilkesboro all the time, And, there's some work going on there trying to bring that back in some capacity. And then the other one that's been in the headlines is the old Nashville Fairgrounds. There's a lot of news right now. SMI has got a deal to try to bring that racetrack back, and they think it'll be on the schedule as a short track in 2023. So, there's a lot of interest in some of these old historic tracks, and certainly most of them aren't coming back. They're too far gone, but it's very interesting and I think very cool to see NASCAR bringing back a little bit of that history and some of those little tracks getting some publicity.
Jeff, as always, certainly appreciate it. Enjoy the racing this weekend as we get back to it and we hit the long home stretch here for NASCAR. Look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you much.
Okay, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks,
you. Jeff
Owens, great stuff from him. We appreciate that. After the break, we'll come back and give you the recruiting notes on the day. Then George Bryan III will join us for a little golf talk around South Carolina. We'll check the PGA Tour stop in Memphis and also update the South Carolina Amateur. And then we'll hear from USC running back Marshawn Lloyd. All that coming up. Don't go away.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccines. For help finding a vaccine location in your area, visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110. COVID-19 vaccines are free and don't require ID or insurance. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110 to find a vaccine location near you.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment. No air balls, no bricks, nothing but net with Founders Federal Credit Union. Our full-service line of financial products gives you all the tools you need for financial success, and you'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and
All right, we'll give you the recruiting report here on Sports Talk on this Friday night. It is brought to you by Seawells. And the only thing I regret about leaving Columbia today was that I missed lunch at Seawells. You know why, Chris?
Well, it's Friday. They have a additional item to the menu. You were telling us about the, what was that, the prime rib?
Roast beef Friday.
Roast beef, that's it. The roast beef.
But not just any roast beef. I'm talking delicious roast beef. What's your beef? My beef is roast.
Where is
roast
the beef?
beef?
It's at Seawells.
It is at Seawells. Absolutely. And I missed it today. So I'm sorry I missed it today. I will catch it. You can catch it next week, the daily luncheon buffet, every day, 11 to 2. And if you have got a big event coming up, maybe it's not such a big event. Maybe it's a medium-sized event. Maybe it's a small event. Whatever you got, Seawells can handle it for you because they're the best in the catering business. They have a wonderful location to host your event, or they'll come to you. Just give them a call, 771-7385 is the number. Couple of recruiting items. Wide receiver Jaden Gibson, 6'6", $185, Winter Garden, Florida. Talked with him last night. Made official visits in June to Miami and Baylor. Not yet scheduled the final 3 this fall, but said USC will be one. Also plans to go to Florida and to either Georgia or Florida State. He said USC, Miami, Georgia, Florida, Florida State make his top 5 at this point, with Baylor and Auburn also in the mix. He made a 2-day unofficial with his father to USC in
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Norwegian Cruise Line is asking a federal judge to block a Florida law prohibiting cruise companies from demanding that passengers show written proof of coronavirus vaccination before they board a ship. Norwegian contended at a hearing Friday the vaccine passport ban, signed into law in May by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, jeopardizes the health and safety of passengers and crew and is an unconstitutional infringement on the First Amendment. It also contains a fine of $5,000 per passenger for violations. Florida officials say the law's aim is to prevent discrimination against passengers who don't get vaccinated. The judge did not indicate when she would rule. On Wall Street, a mixed day as the Dow was up by 144 points, the Nasdaq dropped 59, the S&P up by 7. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm Reverend Juan, and I'm here to invite you to my show, Open Hearts, Open Minds, with some exciting topics about life in general. So tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. here on The Point Radio, 100.7 FM or 1470 AM, or listen live at makethepointradio.com.
Now, who could that be?
It's Dominion Energy. I signed us up for a home energy checkup. It's time we learn how to save energy and money.
Well, how much does it cost?
Not a dime. It's free, and it only takes about an hour. Plus, we get a report on things we can do to make our home more energy efficient.
I don't know. Sounds too good to be true.
No. See for yourself at DominionEnergySC.com.
Where?
DominionEnergySC.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Hi, this is Michelle Arnold, your host for Travel Buzz, every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 100.7 The Point. We're here to make your travel dreams a reality. That's Travel Buzz every Monday morning at 9 on The Point.
Have you walked around your own home lately? I mean, it is your most valuable financial asset. Have you spotted any cracks in the home's foundation? Now, if you have, don't panic. You call TerraTech instead. Why am I so comfy recommending TerraTech? Well, they check off all the boxes that matter to me. First, they're local. They're family-owned in the Midlands for more than 38 years. More than 10,000 homeowners, just like you and just like me, have trusted TerraTech to restore their homes. TerraTech combines their collective experience of over 150 years of professional service in the foundation repair industry, along with utilizing state-of-the-art products and solutions. TerraTech fixes foundations. They also repair or build retaining walls. They install French drains, and they offer free inspections and repair quotes. They stand by their work, and they can be trusted with protecting your home. And hey, if you don't want to take my word for it, they're also A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Find them online, TerraTechInc.com, or call TerraTech 791-8888.
Hi, honey. Could you drop by True Pharmacy on the way home and pick up another bottle of CBD for me?
Of course. I sure am glad that the CBD is helping you.
Yes. On my last visit to True Pharmacy, the pharmacist answered all my questions about CBD, got me started on a good dose, and I'm feeling much better.
I sure am glad we found True Pharmacy. Their staff is awesome. They always take the time to care. True Pharmacy, located on Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Devine Street across from Greer High School.
Well, George Bryan III is letting us play through tonight, Chris, because he and his lovely wife, Valerie, is it Valerie? Hope that's right.
I do too.
They're celebrating a birthday. I think it's hers down in the Dominican Republic. So he is.
Wow.
He's asked for a mulligan, and so we're going to play through, and he'll join us next week with another exciting edition of Birdies and Bogeys, brought to you by the Players Club. In the meantime, I will tell you the South Carolina Amateur, and it's Oliver Ruddeman at 8 under par, 66, round 1, 70, round 2. He's 8 under par. They're playing this at Debadoo in Georgetown, just outside of Georgetown. Zach Adams threw 5 holes today. He's 6 under for the tournament, so he's 2 shots back. Harry, and he's from Charleston, Harry Reynolds from Greenville. He's 4 under. He's in after a 69 today. And Michael Riles from Florence, he is 4 under after
Francis
his
Marion
opening
golfer.
round. Okay, after his
Playing
opening round.
collegiately at Francis Marion, yeah.
Not seeing a second round posted for him yet, just a start time, so I'm wondering if rain held him up. Don't know the story. Rafe Reynolds of Greenville, he's 3 under after a 72 today. Jamie Stanley from Darlington, he's 3 under as well, and he had a 68 today. And also at 3 under, Tyler Gray of Lugoff, he's 2 under on the course through a 6. And also at 3 under, Henry Augustine from Columbia, he too is at 3 under through 3 holes today. 1 under, 3 under for the tournament, 1 under on the day. And so that's the top of the leaderboard as they play in the second round of the South Carolina Amateur. As for the tournament out in Memphis, they're playing the WGC tournament there. I'll give you an update on that leaderboard here in just a moment. As really, the golf, and you got some big names in this tournament. A lot of big names like to go to Memphis and play in this event. It's a beautiful golf course. I guess they're playing the TPC course there. But, really, to me, golf now, with everything else going on, it's sort of lagging until we get to the latter part of the Tour Championship event and then the Ryder Cup coming up in September. But as for this event, it is Harris English who followed his 62 with a 65. He's 13 under par. That's pretty darn good. Cameron Smith, a 62 today. He's at 11 under. Abram Answer, a 62. 62, the magic number. He's 11 under. Ian Poulter, a 66. He's 10 under. Sam Burns is at 10 under. Also, Scotty Scheffler is at 10 under. Looks like 62, just running through the scores here, looks like 62 is the low of the day, and nothing wrong with that. Bryson DeChambeau is 9 under. He had a 66 today. Will Zalatoris is 8 under after a 66. Justin Thomas is 6 under. Dustin Johnson a 65. He's 6 under. Phil Mickelson, a 66, is 5 under. Sergio Garcia is 2 under after a 68. Colin Morikawa, a 71. He's 2 under. Rory McIlroy, a 66, is 2 under. Kevin Kisner is 1 under after a 72. Brooks Koepka, a 69, -1. Lucas Glover, +4, 73. And this being a WGC event, let me see. Yeah, there's no cut since it's an invitational WGC event. So everybody will be playing on the weekend.
Corns, got to break in for a second. I got some exciting news for you, and I got a little hint in the background. We'll play it lightly underneath. But the man, the myth, the legend is actually with us, coming from his romantic getaway to the Caribbean. George Bryan was able to get us. Don't know how long he'll be able to stay on the phone, but he's here if you'll have him.
Oh, well, he told me he was going to pass. I thought he was getting busy down there in the Dominican. Okay, well.
He's trying to make us look bad, Corey.
I don't know what to say. Welcome in. I'd already played through.
Buenos noches.
All right. Well, it's good to have you with us. I did not mean to interrupt the little getaway for you and the missus.
Hey, my wife, she's in the background. We're celebrating our 60th birthday, and she just corrected me. Now, understand, I'm trying to train these folks in Spanglish down here, and they're not taking to they're not following directions very well. But we're having a blast. It's our 60th birthday. My wife Valerie, been married 35 years, and yeah, we're.
Wait. I'm really confused. You're saying our 60th birthday. Like, which one is 60?
Both of us. She's 60 last week, and I'll be 60 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, isn't that special?
Nice. We just exaggeratingly mashed them together. But yet until now. I married an older woman.
Yes, you did. And you also you outdrove your I'm trying to use golf terms here. You outdrove the gallery in your wedding selection.
I flew it way over the heads. And way over my head for sure.
Yeah.
Outkicked my coach, and I tell you what, the Dominican Republic is a very, very special place. I hadn't played the golf down here. I hear the golf is spectacular. I have a golf course that I know about. And I've called from other countries before, gotten some live enthusiasm, especially in Ireland. I called you one Friday about 16, 17 years ago from Ireland. It's a different time zone in the wrong direction. And they were, you remember the language, I think you had to use that delay button quite a bit. In the background, they just wore me.
They were none too happy. They were none too happy with you, to say the least, for waking them up. Well, listen, while we got you real quick, I just went over the scores from the South Carolina Am at Debadoo. What do you know about Oliver Retterman from Daniel Island? He leads after his 2 rounds at 8 under par.
Well, not much. In fact, I don't know anything about Oliver at this point. What about what 8 under par for 2 rounds? That's an awfully good score at Debadoo.
Yes,
incredibly good. How about the pre-tournament choice? If he is competing, would be Charles Warren. Where does Charles Warren stand after 36 holes?
Oh, that's a good question. Remember, we talked about him being on the list going back a couple of weeks ago. Last time you and I talked, and I don't know that he's in here because I don't.
It was loose talk because I don't recall. I didn't talk to Charles. I had heard he had gotten some sort of an exemption, or that could be wrong information. I know you don't like to talk on speculative, incorrect information, but I'm out of the country, so you got all that coverage.
Yeah. Well, he was on the list. Remember, we were going over some of the names that were showing up on the website, on the SCGA website, but he's not in this field, so apparently did not enter. But the second place guy right now is Zach Adams of Charleston. He's at 6 under, and then Harry Reynolds of Greenville and Michael Riles of Florence, they're at 4 under.
What I do know is I watched Zach Adams as a very young fella and have watched him grow up. He can win this event. He has got big time game. In fact, I think he's already signed. I thought he had committed to USC golf. I can't confirm that. Did not follow up on that. And you did confirm that he did sign with the Gamecock.
No. I'm not confirming. I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay. Well, and I watched Randy, his father. I watched Zach grow up. He can win this event. He is spectacular. Got a great short game. So it could be like last year, a junior winning the state amateur again. And Oliver, for what I know, which is not very much about the show, he could be a senior. Our juniors for a lot of years have been some of the best in the whole world. And you and I spoke about Lucas Glover when he won the state amateur here over in Myrtle Beach at Poly. I remember vividly talking about how he torched that golf course. It's unbelievable the scores he shot and how well he drove his golf ball. So wouldn't surprise me if we had another junior win the event this weekend. So,
I
don't know.
I was going to say something here. Is this the Zach Adams that we're talking about here? Is this the same Zach Adams who, like 9 years ago, shot a 58 in a sanctioned 18-hole junior open golf tournament back in 2013?
I do not think that is the same Zach, but I could be wrong. The Zach Adams that we're talking about is, if it says Charleston beside his name, I'm not looking at the scores.
Yeah, this was in Mount Pleasant. He did this in Mount Pleasant in 2013 as a 9-year-old.
Wow, it could be. Oh, it definitely could be. And I don't recall the conversation. I do know that this young man has been a great player for many years. Would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, from the time he was probably 6 or 7 years old, I was truly impressed. He's got incredible hands around the green. His putting is spectacular. His imagination off the charts. Probably the most impressive thing, though, is his passion for the game. He loves the game. Fun to watch. So I think the admission is right. If you're in the Myrtle Beach area or want to drive a few hours and watch maybe next year's Superstars, I strongly recommend it. The price is right. Golf course is beautiful. It's worth the walk, too.
Yes, it is.
Gorgeous.
All right, George, we're going
to
let you get back to it. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
From the Dominican, I will go ahead and sign off. See him high. Talk to you next week and shoot him love.
All right, George. Sorry.
Thanks,
Didn't
George.
mean to break in front of you there. George, Brian.
He's just trying to make us look bad, Phil. All of us married guys who have wives celebrating birthdays in the near future. How can you top taking your wife to the Dominican Republic?
That's
just rubbing that in our faces.
That really is. He's making us play for second and third place here.
No
doing
doubt.
something like that.
Wow.
All right, let's go to the break, and we'll come back and hear from Marshawn Lloyd. Might be able to squeeze in a call as well before we hit the end of the program on this very busy Friday night from up here at Clemson. Guess the Tigers have wrapped up their first practice.
Of golf, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
It's officially summertime in South Carolina. And whether you're heading to the beach, lake, or pool, be Be sure to include a bag of boiled peanuts. Did you know that boiled peanuts are South Carolina's state snack? Peanuts pack a lot of protein, and they're good for your heart. Buy some today at your local grocery store or roadside stand. Brought to you by South Carolina's peanut growers. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19
Dad,
vaccine.
you're going to get the COVID-19 vaccine, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the vaccines were made too fast. Who knows what they put in that stuff?
Dr. Johnson, and he told me the vaccines are safe and effective.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dad. I need you to stay healthy. So can we look into the vaccines more together?
Sure. Anything for you, sweetheart.
Visit scdhack.gov/vaxlocator to find a vaccine location near you.
Life. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
Founders is offering a low-rate mortgage with up to $4,000 in closing costs to full-time hospital employees, honoring your frontline efforts against COVID-19. With no PMI, no origination fee, and no limit on the loan amount, you can't go wrong. Visit founders.com/HEC and apply for your hospital employee choice mortgage today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
And one of my big disappointments up here at Clemson now, Chris, is that the Western Sizzler is no more. That's one of my favorite places up here at Clemson. How they could let the Western Sizzler go is beyond me. So I'm lost up here. Let's listen
about that, Phil.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get to Marshawn, I actually have a follow-up story to that. I met with Buddy Bridges, our buddy at the Lawrence County office of Farm Bureau Insurance, and he said he's a big Clemson guy. That was his go-to restaurant up in Clemson, and he was devastated when that restaurant shut down. He was thrilled, though. We have one here in Florence, so that's where I met with he and his wife a couple of days ago to say hello as they were coming back from the beach. But he's like you; he was devastated when
the
that
one
went
up here
away.
was fantastic. It was a must-stop place. When we coming up here on Tuesdays for the coaches' press conference and all that. So very, very sorry to see it go. Okay, Marshawn Lloyd. Now, Gamecock fans can't wait to see him on September 4th in action against Eastern Illinois. You know who else who can't wait? Marshawn Lloyd can't wait. We talked to him yesterday at Media Day and asked him how anxious he is to get out there and get going.
I knew that I was going to be here because I came here for the school and not just coach. I came here for the people and the fans. I came here for that, and no coach can ever take that away.
Feel like you and Kevin, who is obviously the SEC's leading rusher last year, can be a really potent combo in the backfield and really get things going?
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, I feel like we can have a 3 or 4 running backs being able to do everything on the field, but definitely
that's what your offensive line coach said too.
Oh yeah, we got 3 or 4 people that can get on the field and do the same exact thing at a high level. So I feel like our running back room is loaded, and a lot of people don't know because a lot of us didn't play. Only Kevin Harris really played last year, so they don't know about what's coming from the SEC backfield.
Thank you. What was it like for you when you got the word that you were totally clear and you could just go back to being Marshawn and play ball?
It was exciting figuring out and knowing that I'm able to go 100% go. I've been wanting this since I got hurt last year. Knowing that I'm finally here is it amazes me, and I'm just excited, very excited about, tomorrow and what's yet to come.
What do you think the fans will see from you when they get a chance to see you in action?
How electric I am. I want the fans to see, that anything that they were told or anything that's been brought to them, that it's real and that everything they heard is the real deal. And I'm ready to show them that they got what they wanted, and I'm here to stay.
How can you guys coexist together with so many running backs, good running backs, as you mentioned, including the great Kevin Harris from last year, who has share the load? How's everybody going to feel waiting this time to get out there and get to the rhythm?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everywhere we're all together. We're all one. We know like when it's your time, it's your time. And it starts with practice. Whatever you get your time by what you do in practice and how hard you work. So it starts tomorrow with whoever's going to play as many amount. Kevin Harris is going to do his thing, but all the other running backs never played, so we have to earn our time. So starting tomorrow, me, Saquandre, Amos, Juju McDowell, Nathan Harris, like Wayne Harris, we all have to get out there and just show the coach what we're capable of doing.
Are you at all nervous or anxious about that first cut, that first full-speed cut, or maybe that first hit? You're going to take on the knee just so that you get that behind you and you go, yep, everything's good.
I'm already there. I'm not afraid of anything. A little early on, I was scared to cut, but I've been cutting full go, like different drills I've been doing at full speed. I've been running full speed, so I feel like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to go. I'm anxious to get out there and play.
And Coach Beaver's talked a lot about running the football, and they really believe that if they successfully have to run the football,
Yes.
And you're behind an offensive line that produced 1,000-yard rusher last year.
Yes.
And SEC play only. So, what do you think the running game will be able to do?
I don't want to say the exact numbers, but I know it's going to be something special. We have something special coming here at South Carolina, with the great offensive line and also the great running backs. I feel like we can do really something special, here at South Carolina with our running backs.
Sticking to that, seeing what Kevin did last year as you were on the sidelines, how much confidence does it give you that you are in the right spot and you do have the right stuff around you to be able to produce like he did?
Oh yeah, confidence. That definitely gives me the confidence. Shows me. I work with Kevin every day. I know what type of player he is. He knows what type of player I am, and we like to compete against each other. So having him and being able to have a guy like that that's going to push me, and I'm going to push him is amazing. It's only going to make us better.
Speaking of Coach Hardesty, and he had said that he had cut up some NFL film comparables for each of you guys, and he had said, I believe DeAndre Swift and Josh Jacobs, he compared to you.
Yes.
How much does that help you to kind of see the way you run and then watch their film and see how close the offenses are and kind of see how that works?
It helps me a lot. I actually watch their film a lot because they play in the SEC, and those are actually two of my favorite backs that I can say. I got size and I got the electricness of DeAndre Swift. So being able to be compared to them is amazing.
All right, there you go. Comments from Marshawn Lloyd. Looking forward to seeing what he can do for the Gamecocks this coming season. Let's jump quickly to the phones because we've had Rick and Irmo hanging on for a few minutes. We appreciate that. Rick, we reward you with some quality airtime here on Sports Talk at the end of the week. Welcome in.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm hoping my phone will hold up during this period of time. But anyway, I just had two quick questions. Coach Wingo that's coming to South Carolina, is he paid for this, or he said he's a volunteer coach? Yeah. How does that work? And then the second question I was going to ask you is the USC rankings. I think Vegas had USC was at 2.5 or 3.5 games this year. And I was going to say, how do they rank or preseason rank in the SEC? And I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thanks. The way I understand it is, in terms of being on the staff, baseball staffs are limited to the number of full-time assistant coaches they can have. And so you have a volunteer coach. That's something they put in a couple of years ago. And so he is not paid for what he does working with the baseball team directly. However, he can make money with camps and auxiliary things like that. And so that's what they look at. So he'll make a pretty good salary working with the baseball camps and doing other things like that and get paid for. It's funny. Maybe he can do an NIL. Now they're letting the athletes do it. Maybe a poor volunteer baseball coach can do an NIL.
Well, I will
You
say
know?
this, Phil. It is a major point of contention for most Division I college baseball coaches. They hate the fact that their staffs are so restricted and so limited. I understand why the NCAA has it set up that way, because teams in the SEC and the ACC that could fund and do fund college baseball programs would probably expand their staffs, look like a men's basketball staff as opposed to what it is currently. But yeah, he's not allowed to make a whole lot of money. I don't think he can even recruit as a volunteer assistant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think you can go on the road. The other thing is where South Carolina's picked. Well, the media, SEC Media Day, picked them 6th in the East ahead of Vanderbilt. Vegas has their win total at 3, over under 3. But they're going to win more than 3 games. Okay.
Yes, they are.
I would definitely take the over on that. Okay, because that's not going to be enough for the Gamecocks. Okay, that'll do it. Thanks to Brian Hennessy, Clemson Baseball SID, for letting us borrow the press box tonight. Pat, thank you. Chris, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Everybody have a great weekend. Rest up. It's going to get busy. We hit the trail hard next week. See you then.
Someone will be